Traditionally, an agent will do things to get business. They'll get that business and the business goes up. They stop doing the things that got them the business. They close that business and then they're out of business.
Had 3 fall throughs with buyers, so it was tough. I don't know why I actually listened to them.
The biggest problem that we have is people stop. Hi, everybody. My name is James Becker, and I am the founder and CEO of Fusion Growth Partners. One of the reasons why you might listen to what it is that I'm having to say and to consider some of the thoughts is because I have built from scratch one of the largest mega organizations or teams in the country. We currently have close to 850 top real estate agents that work and partner with my organization, and I have over 300 employees that support these agents. Last year, our agents sold over $6 billion in real estate, producing well over $150 million in gross commissions earned. I hope you find what I'm sharing interesting, insightful, and helpful for your business. Colleen, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. What part of the country are you in?
South Carolina?
Well, I understand you're kind of new with us.
Yes.
I'm not sure what direction we'll take this in. Did you get our business plan?
I do have that, yes.
Okay, did you read it?
I've read some of it. It is very thick.
Yeah.
And I will admit, I've been very busy since I started, coaching with you guys and working with you guys. I have not had a minute to myself. Last time I talked to Dan, I hadn't had time to go back through my sphere and find a couple extra people, add some people. I had 10 pending.
Congratulations.
Thank you. It's been tough, but we were talking about adding to the team, and I did see your webinar about how to do that. And I mean, I've only been in the business 4.5 years, so I don't feel like
where's your business coming from?
my sphere, referrals, word of mouth. I don't buy leads. Like, I'm not a Zillow agent or realtor.com or any. I just
Yeah,
do
complete
that.
waste of time. So you're already having a lot of success. So what this means to me is you're well respected and well liked in your community and through your friends because you're already getting business. What did you do before?
I was a physical therapist for 31 years. We lived in Pennsylvania. My husband's a builder, so we worked with a realtor up there. And I owned 2 gyms. I did therapy. And for years, our agent, Ira Nadage, I think he's part Tom Ferry now, works, doing some of the coaching with him, kept telling me, he's like, you need to get your license and work for me. I said, nah, I'm a therapist and I own a gym. He's like, no, he said, you're an agent. You just haven't realized it yet.
Yeah.
So during COVID, when they furloughed me from therapy, I got my license. We sold our house up there, moved down here. We didn't know anybody, just came to a completely new area since I
Wow.
started over. So I started over with, completely new area, new friends, new job, career. It's been great.
So what challenges are you having that you'd like to talk to me about at this point?
Well, I don't think it's anything unnatural. It's like those peaks and valleys, like from October till January. I mean, I had, I guess, 3 or 4 listings between October and November that, of course, they just sit all winter long. Had a couple 3 fall throughs with buyers. So it was tough. And I was like, somebody called from, Fusion. I don't know why I actually listened to them. Because normally when somebody calls and you don't know who it is, it's like just a random number, we would like to help partner with your business. Usually I'd be like, no, but I listened to him. I'm like, sure, if somebody wants to call me, we'll talk. And I guess that was when Michael first called me, I guess, or maybe it was Michael and Dan. And I liked what I heard. and talked to my husband. I said, I need someone to help me with the marketing. Then as things started picking up, I was like, I'm not writing my 2 notes a day. I was pretty disciplined with, try, if I didn't get 2 a day, I'd do 10 a week.
Right.
Sometimes it was getting all caught up at once, but I do things very good about, like, at least once or twice a week, taking clients out to lunch or getting coffee or whatever, try and have my 10 touches a day with them.
Yeah. So you were disciplined in that, and that's generating good business for you, even in an area that you're not a native to, which is terrific.
I've had good training with Alan Tate. I did go through the Ninja program, Ninja Selling.
I don't know exactly what they do, but from what I understand, their philosophy is similar to ours.
I think that's why I found it a good fit, because nothing that you guys are saying is like contrary to what I feel or believe or have been told.
So let's talk about this a little bit. So for us, and what's really important is our goal is not to really increase your business this year at all. Like whatever is going to happen this year is pretty much already laid out.
Okay.
What I'm interested in doing is helping you build a incredibly stable business that 3, 4, 5 years from now, more clients don't necessarily mean more work. They mean more profit. And you're still engaged with those clients, but it's kind of like you're the main physical therapist and you have other people working on people, and you're just going around and readjusting. You're like the chef and you have a bunch of sous chefs. You sound like a rarity in a sense that you're able to get business going right away. There's a small percentage of people that are able to do that, and people trust you, they like you. This is clear. Otherwise, you wouldn't be generating the business that you have, and you don't really have a huge sphere of influence. This is very promising. The issue is that the Harvard Business Review coined a phase called the growth paradox. So we want to grow a business, right? And our desire is to get the business bigger and bigger. The problem with that, the paradox is, the bigger the business gets, the more complex the business gets. And the more complex the business becomes, the more that things start to fall between the cracks, and the level of service goes down and the consistency goes down, and the business can kind of implode on itself. Everything we do has a vision of a long-term perspective. So people are like, I need a deal right now. We can't help those people. They can go to Zillow and get leads, but that's kind of like going on heroin, and not very good heroin, because you don't get paid very much. And you might get lucky and close something, but the people who will survive into the future and drive the business are the people who are the rainmakers. Traditionally, an agent will do things to get business. They'll put inputs, they'll get that business, and their business goes up. They stop doing the things that got them the business, they close that business, and then they're out of business. And they have to start all over again. So they go like this. And what ends up happening is there is a tremendous amount of stress that now is taken on with that person. And people start looking for the shortcut on how to fix it. There are no shortcuts, in my opinion. It is a matter of doing the things you're supposed to do consistently and allowing time to create the magic of a compounding effect. You're a physical therapist, so you deal with athletes on a regular basis. And the athletes that are very consistent in their exercises, there is a compounding effect to where they can get. Whereas someone who does the exercises, stops for 2 weeks, they have to start all over again. There's not an accumulative effect oftentimes. sometimes, but one of the biggest challenges is that people do not stay the course. They get complacent and they're looking for the next thing. And so with Fusion, yes, we do marketing, but that's only one part of it. It is to build a complete business that is potentially sellable into the future. And that there is this pendulum where you can get to a point where you can actually have deals closing and you're making money and you're spending less and less time because your brand is that significant. For example, if the best attorney in town is well known and you go to the best attorney in town for whatever situation you have, and you're happy to have them, you don't mind when their associates is taking telephone calls or filing things for you, whatever the case may be. But when you're in front of that judge, if he or she is in front of that judge doing the important stuff, that's what it is that you wanted. And so that's the mindset of building a law firm, a group, not a big team where you have a bunch of people. We want to maintain a high level of profitability on each deal that's coming in. And the realities is 71% of agents in 2024 did not sell a single home. It's insanity. Yeah. And so there's a lot of people who would be willing to work, who are licensed for a steady paycheck or take a smaller portion if they don't have to generate that business. And so again, I just want to make sure that this mindset is, we're 2 years out where you can really see the magic of what it is that's happening. You'll see it kind of like a cornfield growing. You'll see the sprouts, you'll start to see some activity. But the goal is to literally change your life. The alternative, Colleen, is that you get into this rat race of chasing your tail on the amount of business you're doing. You got to get it all, and then you're out of business, and then you get it all, and it burns people out. I gave a speech at Inman in San Francisco in 2017, 2018, I don't remember what, but I did a study on top producers 10 years before, and I ran all the numbers. It's like 70% of them were doing worse than they were doing 10 years previous. That's not the way it's supposed to work. Again, you're kind of in medicine. There's an addictive cycle that people get into that keeps them from delayed gratification is critical for true longevity. And so all of those principles, probably, I'm not a physical therapist, but I'm assuming that a lot of those principles actually apply here. So Ninja is probably teaching you how to get business and how to generate business, and we probably are aligned with that. But we go from Groundbreaker, which is building your infrastructure. We then run the infrastructure and your business starts to get better and better over time, a year, 18 months. But at some point, you will need to get to a point, and it may be sooner than later because you're a special person, clearly, that you will need to have help. But you don't want to diminish because people are coming for you. So how do you scale yourself without giving away every bit of energy that you have? And so we have processes for that. But I don't want to build that scaffolding and that floor until we have the foundation built, we have the first floor built, and it's solid. Otherwise, we're just going to topple in on each other. And you can stop me and ask me questions if you want. The other thing that I want to really highly have you realize is that this process, and this is my opinion, of getting the stuff done, of building the sphere of influence, getting the database together, approving all of the marketing, getting all that stuff is more important than any single client. And the reason why I say that is because this is going to generate the next 100 to 300 clients for you. And so if you had 2 clients that wanted you at the same time, you'd have to schedule around that. You have to look at us in the work that we're asking you to do as more important than any one single client. So that once we get this infrastructure built, then we get that wheel into motion. Again, a physical therapist, if someone has surgery, I had surgery on my shoulder. I had to do that first. And then, I got into doing these things, right? I had a slap repair. I've got a rotator thing now that I'm trying stem cell, the embryonic stem cell.
Oh, wow.
The umbilical cord stem cell. So far, the only thing I've noticed is my bank account being a lot less.
Not working, huh?
Well, it's been 30 days. I feel like it's starting to go. I've had 2 treatments, but I just don't have surgery again because it takes so long to get back. You have the surgery and then you have to do the exercise and you have to build on it. And it takes time. And if you're like me, I want immediate results. Right? But it doesn't work that way. And so that mindset is critical. And if you don't stop, though, there is a compounding effect that is the 8th wonder of the world is compound interest, and it works just like this. There is a saturation that happens as you're building your business and the size of your network, you'll just end up doing more and more business. Have you been through the ROI spreadsheet document?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, I'm going to take you through that because I want to give you a vision of where we're going. Okay. What town are you in South Carolina?
Rock Hill, close to Charlotte.
What's the population there? Okay, they say between 8 to 10 years. So let's just say 10 years. Okay, how many people do you have in your database right now that we've selected?
I think it was 248.
Okay, so I'll put in 250. We want you to spend your time meeting people, getting involved so that you can make 2 new friends a week. Okay, that's it. 8 per month. If we start right now, and this really takes 18 months to get the full marketing effect once we start going. So in this spreadsheet, and I'll show it to you in a minute how it works. For the first 6 months, we're going to assume that our marketing has 0 effect. Now, you might get some business out of it, but just for the purposes, spreadsheet is going to have 0 effect. After 6 months, it'll have 33% of its ability to produce at what the full amount of saturation. After 12 months, 66%, and then 18 months. And so that percentage would be based upon what the number of people or opportunities that you would get in your database. So if we said, okay, at 2 years of marketing to this 250 people, of the 25 people who are going to sell their home that year, what is the percentage that would at least give you an opportunity with all of the marketing that we do? And I think you answered when we did the application. Do you remember what that number was?
I don't remember, but out of 250 people, if we're consistently marketing,
they're getting 10 contacts a month from you.
I'd say probably 70% of the people will call me.
Okay. So take 70%. So out of that 250, that means that you would get 18 listing interviews. You'll probably close 90%, 80% only call one person. So you feel comfortable you'd get 90% if you were at the kitchen table?
I think.
Okay.
I'll try.
So that means you would get 16 listings out of this group here once it's totally saturated. Okay. So now half of these people, if we're assuming half are going to stay in town, either buy up or buy down, and you would get 90% of that business. That'd be another 7 deals. And then for every 4 listings that you took, you got a neighbor to call, or you got a sign call where you double-ended it, right? Where you got some more business. So that would mean out of that 250, once we're totally saturated on the marketing, that you would have 27 deals, give or take, out of that 250 people, okay? Now, that's after full saturation. What is your average sales price?
In Rock Hill, I think our average sale price is right around 350, 360.
Okay. And is your average commission 2.5 or 3%?
3.
I think I got it set at 2.5, so this would be actually higher. And we're averaging $2 per person in your database, marketing expense per month.
Okay.
And then I'm suggesting that you send the boxes that we do. That's a big hit, and it should be a surprise. It shouldn't be a part of your presentation. The power is in the surprise when they get there and there's a whole bunch of boxes. That's what makes that work. And then a $300 closing gift. So total, that's $450. Okay, so if you're adding 8, the first year, you're going in the hole roughly about $15,000 in marketing and everything else. I'm going to take that $15,000 and I'm going to put it over here into a really high performing money market account or stock account, okay, to compare where we would go. We go out 3 years, okay, 3 years, just adding 8 people and utilizing, and remember, for every new person that's going in, they don't get full marketing for 18 months. So they get 33% effective, 66. So we're really being conservative in these estimates. At the end of year 3, you would, under those estimates, close 44 transactions. But you would also then have total revenue of almost $400,000. Your marketing expense would be roughly $11,000. Your gift expense is $11,000. And I'm going to want you to have an assistant full time. Okay, because we don't want you to burn out. We want you to have the energy to go to the Rotary Club, to go to the charity galas, all of that kind of stuff. You need to be the front person for your business.
Okay.
Okay, that brings you to a net profit of $300,000. Your accumulative profit is almost 500,000. If we take this out 2 more years, just starting at 250, that brings you to where your revenue is almost 600,000 a year. Your expenses are 150, and that means you have 2 full-time associates licensed helping you. You're doing 64 transactions. And your annual net profit is $430,000. That gives you an accumulative return of 1.2 million. Now, remember when I said, we're going to kind of go in the hole a little bit of the 14,000? Well, if we invested in the stock market and we got an 8% return, which is an unbelievable return, right? That same $14,000 would be $22,000 at the end of 5 years. Compared to this. This is the mindset that we want everybody to have. We want you to focus on your inputs. Forget about the results. And I know that's hard to do. But we cannot control the results. We can only influence them. And we can only influence them through our inputs. So I did a video yesterday. I'm not a religious person, but I did a video on the Serenity Prayer. Are you familiar with the Serenity Prayer?
Yeah, God grant me.
Yeah. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. If we can implement the serenity prayer in action, not just the prayer, but the actual action of letting go all of the stuff that we can't control today and control what we can today, doing the inputs, and we allow the compounding effect to come together. This is what's going to happen, either 25% less or 25% more, because we can't control where the market's going to be, but this is what will happen. You can reasonably net $500,000 every single year. You can have 2 full-time assistants, and you can have a real life where you're putting real money away. And you can have consistency. Now, you may close 20 homes in 1 month and none for 2 months, but that's kind of the way it goes. But overall, that will be your average. And you will have a brand that everybody knows that doesn't rely on Zillow or Realtor.com or anything. This is where we want to go. So what do you think about what happens with those basic, simple assumptions? Pretty crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Consistency.
The biggest problem that we have is people stop doing it. People stop doing the exercises. And what happens?
Stops.
The compounding effect goes away. So we want to choose the amount that we can do, 1 hour to 2 hours of proactive input work per day. That's it. If you can make 5 calls a day and meet 2 new people where you're going out and meeting, get involved in charities, getting involved in the Rotary, just get involved like crazy and meet people and have events and invite them to the events. That's where we're going to take you. And so again, this mindset that I need you to think about, when I get there, this is what I'm going to have. And you will get there if you allow us to take you the distance. But you have to go the distance. And the alternative is, so like, kind of like you're going to the new world in the boat with Christopher Columbus, and halfway in the Atlantic, you say, screw it. Right? Then you got to go back and you got to figure something, like, just keep going. There will be times that you'll say, I don't want to do this. We call that the valley of despair. Winston Churchill is famously quoted as saying, if you find yourself going through hell, keep going. Okay? Every entrepreneur finds themselves in moments of, what am I doing? You just got to keep going. And for the people that do, who are good people like you are, who care about their clients, who are smart, you will absolutely kill it.
Thank you. I'm going to try.
Okay. Is there any questions I can ask for you? Is this helpful for you?
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm a numbers person, so that really helped a lot. I like to see that. I like math. So, it makes sense. Math doesn't lie.
Yeah, math tells the truth. That's why they call it proof, right?
Even with my gyms, I knew I needed other people to help me. You always get a bigger return when you do have some costs and expenses. And with my gyms, I would reward people for showing up 3 times a week consistently. Here's a t-shirt after 3 months, or here's this, or
it's the same thing.
Yeah. And honestly, with my gyms, I bought one gym that had 80 members, and I'm not exaggerating, I'm not trying to like be braggadocious at any. I think part of it was people found out it was a physical therapist that owned it, so figured they could get some, free advice too. But within 6 months, I had to buy a whole second set of equipment. And then we were just we had over 500 members before a year was up. We'd grown to over 500 members and people were waiting in line, and it was just too crowded. So I opened a second club 4 miles down the road.
Yeah.
And within that first year, we had over 600 members.
Success story.
Yeah. Well, then I got bamboozled into going back and doing therapy and helping people out. And I had managers and everybody working there, but
bamboozled.
Bamboozled. Well, like they were so desperate. They kept calling all the time. And she's finally like, you owe me, just come help us do some evals. And I love therapy. I love helping people. So then I started doing that 3 times a week. I didn't need the money.
Yeah.
It wasn't the money thing. It was just trying to help them and be a good person. The one manager was pretty much robbing me blind.
Well, there's a lot of little things. So we got groundbreaker, then rainmaker, then team maker, and then profit taker. And this is a whole platform for running your whole business the whole time. And we are absolutely tied to you 100% all the way through it.
Thank you. I'm 57, gonna be 58. My husband's 60. He's, for all intents and purposes, he's retired. Yeah, he built our house. Now every day he putzes around the house and
Yeah. Good for him.
Take an odd job here and there. He hates when I say that he's retired and tell people he's retired. He's like, I'm not. I'm like, kind of you are.
Yeah, but kind of you are.
Yeah, you made this entire year so far what you used to make in 2 weeks. So kind of, but I know he really wants me to not be going 110% every day. He wants to take more time to do stuff. And he'll tell everybody, he's like, she'll never retire till she's 80 or 90. I said, I love what I do. I don't want to necessarily retire, but I actually would love to, when I go down to Florida and see the baby. I try to go down every 2 months. She's a year and a half, and I've been very intentional every 2 months, gone and staying for 4 days or so. But I work while I'm there.
Well, you still may need to do some work, but when we build a team for you, a couple of key people, they can open doors, they can get contracts signed, and you can do most of your stuff on the phone.
Like I said, I don't want to step away and not work. I love my clients. My husband, he says that he works for me now. He'll put my signs in and go pick them up. And he said he'll get his license. He had his license in Florida and he sucked as a realtor. He was awful. And he'll admit it. But he said he'll get his license again and he can be my teammate. I said, I don't want you talking to my clients. Like, you're a builder. You used to go into homes when you did show homes. Oh, no, that's not right. They didn't do that. That this J channel is off. I said, you would talk to every single client out of buying a home. Yeah. I said that I can't have you near my clients. Plus, you don't really like people. You don't get along with people. I did. So I said, I just want you to do the paperwork end of it. Making sure, this is sent out.
Yeah. My suggestion would be not to hire your husband. Better for the relationship, because it's really hard to supervise a spouse. I want to just finish on this one story. The fable, the farmer and the goose that laid the golden egg. The goose laid a golden egg and amazing. And so he pushed it to lay 2 more golden eggs, and then 3 a day, and then 5 a day. And then finally, he just decided to kill the goose to get all the golden eggs out. But of course, what he did is he killed the goose that laid the golden egg.
Right.
In this scenario, most really good producing real estate agents, and I could see this with you, is you are the goose that lays the golden egg, and you are also the farmer that can kill the goose that lays the golden egg. This is a marathon. It is not a sprint. I don't know if that rings true at all or not. But.
Yes. Absolutely. And I do think I've approached it like a sprint. Yeah, I mean, I started this career late in life. Yeah, I'm quite aware where I am on the continuum and with nobody. We didn't have family here, we didn't have friends here, whatever. So I think, and when we came down and my husband was extremely on board with me going into real estate instead. He was very supportive, he's like, I believe in you, you can do this,
Yep.
whatever. I said, then you have to understand 24/7. Like, I know I won't do what I need to do unless I'm doing it 24/7. So he said, fine, go ahead, I give it to you. We don't have kids anymore in the house. So that first year I did. I told everybody, I'm like, I'm up, early enough, you can start calling me at 6 a.m. till 10 o'clock. Then the second year I was like, no, 9 o'clock's cut off. Need to be ready for bed.
Yeah.
I still am a very early riser, so by 6 I am ready to work. But he's saying, like, you're still working 16 hours a day.
Yeah.
Every day.
Well, you're going to still do that for a while, but once we get you there, then we can bring on the first backup dancer, as we call them. But just know you have to kiss some frogs sometimes before you get the right one.
I'm in. I will
All
do
right,
it.
Colleen, it's been absolutely wonderful meeting you. I've really enjoyed this conversation. You seem like a fantastic person and a fantastic agent, and very fortunate to be in business with you. And I want to be the best partner you've ever had in your life, business wise.
Good. Thank you so much. I appreciate you letting me have one of these one-on-ones.
You
Yeah,
betcha.
very grateful for that.
Hey, Colleen, you have a wonderful day, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.